Hi, I'm Chef Scott Samuel here at the Culinary Institute of America at Greystone. I'm going to show you how to make a blueberry upside down cake today. It's very similar to the pineapple upside down cake concept, but we're going to be using fresh or frozen blueberries. Today I choose to use frozen. The concept, if we take a look at our ingredients here, we're going to be making a simple caramel out of butter and brown sugar. Then we're going to be tossing our blueberries with a little bit of granulated sugar, lemon juice, and cornstarch. And then I'm going to be making a cake out of our eggs, sugar, lemon juice, and vanilla, and then adding our dry ingredients, which are flour, baking soda, and salt. So these are all the components to it. The pan that I'm going to be baking in is a 8-inch cake pan. I've lined it with foil, buttered it, lined it with parchment paper, and buttered it again. So when I do pour my caramel base in here and add my blueberries and turn it upside down, it'll be an easy getting it out of the pan. So let's move to the first step. The first step is to make the caramel base. So I have a 1/4 cup of unsalted whole butter, and I'm just going to get this to melt. All right, my butter is melted. I will add my 1/2 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to turn it up to medium heat. I want to cook this down until the sugar is dissolved and it starts to turn a slightly darker color than the brown sugar. I'm going to stir this constantly because I want to kind of emulsify the sugar in the butter. Right now it's a little separate. As soon as I see the emulsification of the two and the color starts to get a little bit darker, I'll know it's time to pour into my prepared pan. Okay, that's what it should look like. We'll pour this into the base of our pan. All right, I'll set that aside while I work with my frozen blueberries. Cup of frozen or fresh, teaspoon of cornstarch, only a tablespoon of granulated sugar, and a teaspoon of lemon juice. Very similar to a pie filling. I want to coat it with the cornstarch and the sugar, just like that. Then I'll pour that into my pan and then kind of distribute the blueberries. I'm kind of keeping them towards the center. I'm trying to make them into one layer. And that is the base of the upside down cake. So I chose frozen blueberries in this application because they're on hand. They're on hand year round. I could use fresh blueberries in the same application. I just want to take care to measure the frozen blueberries while they're frozen so that they don't lose their shape and that I get the exact measurement of frozen versus fresh. The other reason is I also don't want the frozen blueberries to leach out any liquid. So when I do add the blueberries to my caramel, it doesn't change the structure of my cake. Okay, so now we're going to make the cake batter. Very simple. Our ingredients, once again, I have 3 eggs, 4 yolks, a 1.5 cups of cake flour. Cake flour has a lower protein content when I'm making light cakes. I would rather use a cake flour than an all-purpose flour. My baking soda, salt, 1.25 cups of sugar, lemon juice, and in this case, I could use vanilla extract or I'm using vanilla paste, which, as you can see, has a different texture and it has a lot of the vanilla seeds within it. Extract will work. If you have paste, paste will also work. So, very simple. I want to whisk the yolks and eggs together. Just to break them up. I don't want to aerate them too much. Then I'll whisk my sugar into it. Just to incorporate. Then I'm going to add my lemon juice and my vanilla. Whisk to incorporate. All right, then I'm going to incorporate my salt and baking soda with my cake flour. And this is the step where I want to whisk in 1/3 of this dry at a time. And I don't want to whisk too much because I don't want to build up the structure of the cake. To make it tough, I want it just to come together. So whisk my first addition in. Whisk my second addition of flour in. And you can see I'm not completely incorporating it, just enough to. There we go. And the last addition of the cake flour mixture. And then the last ingredient into this cake will be my melted butter. 3/4 cup of melted whole unsalted butter. This is exactly what the batter should look like, silky smooth. And now I'm ready to pour it on my blueberry caramel base. I'm going to place my cake in a preheated 320 degree oven and bake for 50 minutes to an hour or until a toothpick comes out of the center clean. We'll come back to that in about 50 minutes and check on it, and then we'll bring it out of the oven. We let it rest for about 10 minutes before I invert it. I'll take the foil off and we should have our blueberry upside down cake. All right, so it's been about 50 minutes. The blueberry upside down cake has been in the oven, and I took a look at it. It looks great. Perfect color. I did check. I'll check it again. Comes out clean. So this is when we want it to cool down for 10 minutes before I invert it and remove the foil and the parchment, and we should have our perfectly cooked blueberry upside down cake. Okay, now that my blueberry upside down cake has had a chance to cool off slightly, I'm going to invert it, remove the foil. I like to do this by placing another sheet pan. All right, so this cake looks perfect. Nice color, nice texture. So we have our finished blueberry upside down cake. It looks great. I'm going to do a little presentation piece here. A little bit of creme fraiche to add some richness to it. Some fresh blueberries. And there we have it, our blueberry upside down cake with creme fraiche.